Start the morning right with a cup of Vinyl Tap. Nothing beats the refreshing taste of a hot, warm mug of Vinyl Tap. Enjoy your podcast in liquid form today. Vinyl Tap. Enjoy responsibly.
2, 1.
Vinyl Tap. I'm Habibi.
I'm Habibi.
I'm Habibi.
I, too, am Habibi.
And on this week in Vinyl Tap, we listen to none other than everyone's favourite, Taylor Swift, by Taylor Swift. And it was quite the delight.
I loved the hand rainbows.
I hope you all saw them too, like, ooh, Taylor Swift. Shh. Like that. Because that's...
Especially all of our Spotify listeners.
Yeah, look, it was a good time. Lots of country vibes. I really enjoyed the punk rock on the second track. Picture the burn.
I'm not getting this. You kept bringing it up the whole album, and I'm not feeling your punk rock vibes.
No, there's heaps of punk rock all through this album.
Especially that banjo. So
That
punk
banjo
rock.
is so punk.
And good old fiddle.
Yeah, fiddle. That's
Every
the most
punk
punk.
song.
Look, give it time.
She's got the chords for punk, right?
Yeah. Oh,
I have no
does she?
idea.
Well, let's not spoil that straight away. All right, I've said my bit. Nicole.
Oh,
All right,
Go.
before we go into this, can we clarify why you chose? I guess that's...
Why I picked this
Well,
album?
yeah.
Well, no, we can't clarify because I just picked it.
There is no reason.
didn't think very much about
It
it.
just happened.
It just came to me in a dream.
Kind of, honestly, yeah. No, I'll be perfectly honest with you. I've never listened to this album before.
Cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
neither.
It was quite the experience. All right, Nicole,
Definitely
save me.
know every
I'm-
word to
I'm-
this
Yeah.
album. Oh, I guess. I don't actually have a lot contextually to add to this album, but I think I first listened to this when I was probably 12 or 13.
My goodness.
And I have a sneaking suspicion that these songs were all written like by herself and they're all just acoustic ones. And obviously it's the same band group with her throughout the entire album. There's a lot of consistency in that regard. I think
a lot of people worked on this album.
Sorry?
A lot of people worked on this album. I don't know if it's the same players on every single track.
Oh, well, it certainly feels that way. That was more my impression, that I was getting a very consistent sound. So I was just getting the feeling that maybe she wrote these all herself because she was 16.
Yes, she's
and
credited
then
for all
they
the songs on this album.
just kind of like, and they do dance around her in a very lovely manner. Like, there's not a lot of intrusion, in my opinion. Like, because I feel like if you're a band, there's a little bit more like individual voicing than there is in this album, where obviously she's the star of
It's
the
clearly
show.
just the accompaniment for Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like I just get the feeling that obviously she wrote these by herself and then they put them together. But if there's more, is there more than just like, say, 2 guitarists, a drummer, a bassist, a banjo player?
How many were there? The list of people on this was...
I believe the professional term is Banjolina.
Banjolina Jolie. I'm just sending
Someone's
it to
gonna
Anarchy.
Photoshop.
Right?
including all the like the mixing and the production as well as all the instrument. There's like 30-ish people that worked on this.
Whoa, what?
Yeah, this is the list here, which is not going to play well on camera.
For your days. album.
I mean, but it makes sense though because she was only 16, so
Yeah.
you're not going to expect her to do a lot of the heavy lifting production wise or instrumentation
Well, it's one
wise.
way or the other. For a 16-year-old producing an album, either they do everything themselves or like everyone else does something.
Yeah. And
You know what I mean.
I know what you mean. I think it's just impressive that she wrote 11 songs that were this good at that age.
Yes.
Like, that is astounding to me. And 3 of the tracks are just her. Like, there's no one else accredited to them. Because she obviously had Liz Rose, who helped, I guess, shape the album.
Yes, obviously.
Well, not obviously. Well, she had someone, and that someone was...
I could hear it while I was listening. I was like, this has Liz
Liz
Rose
Rose
written
all over it. No, she obviously had someone, and that someone was Liz Rose, who guided her in terms of the songwriting. But there are still 3 tracks that
You're
are
keeping me in
just
suspense. What are those tracks, Jason?
Yeah. You can't just say that and not...
The Outside, Should Have Said No,
Yeah.
and Our Song.
Right.
Our song.
Yeah.
Our song.
How did she? No, I'm not gonna make that joke. Sorry.
How did she write our song by herself?
Yeah, look, stop it. I go
didn't-
for the cheap humor.
Anyone who's watching this on YouTube, just watch me being very confused. Like that whole joke, I was like, I don't get it.
Right. Okay, but then everything else has some
Swift
kind of,
and Rose, and then there's only two other tracks that have got other names on it. And A Place in This World has Robert Ellis Orrell. Apologies for the pronunciation. And
Don't apologize. Own it.
Own it. Yep. Angelo Petraglia.
Okay, that's terrible.
And then on Mary's song, it also has Brian
Angeloni.
I don't know.
Jolene.
Right. Sorry.
But yeah, I think it's pretty astounding for a 16-year-old to have written 11 songs that are at that consistency across an album.
100%. I mean, like, there were some pretty distinct, I guess, what would you call it? It's like a melodic trope that you'd find a lot in pop. And, yeah, and, like, there's, like, a little, like a either chromatic or just stepwise turn before, like, da-da-da, and then some kind of triad.
As in the vocal, she does a lot of vocal turns at the end of songs,
and-
but I think that's also a very distinctly country
I was
thing
gonna
as
say,
well.
when
There's a
you're
lot of
bringing up-
that turn at the end of their
But also,
phrases.
it's just at the start of the phrase. It's like, I can't think of any of the songs. I've forgotten all the melodies, but
when you're talking about
kind of
tropes in
telling,
this
isn't it?
this album, though, like most of them kind of are just full of tropes, like instrumentation and the like little lines that the instruments were playing. Like it was
see,
overall
this is
kind of
it
tropey.
either for me. It's either stand out amazing or it does kind of fall flat because if I didn't love the song, then it's a pretty. Generic is maybe the best word that I can come up with, just because it's got all those tropes, right? It's got the real good country vibes.
Right.
It's got the. Well, I didn't really listen too much to the lyrics, but there was a lot of pickups there.
Am I the only one that
and-
listens to the lyrics?
Yes.
no bits and pieces. Pick and
Yes.
choose.
Actually, that's a really interesting part of this album is that she does a lot of almost narrating, storytelling kind of
Yep.
style of writing, which obviously we've looked over other albums and she moves away from to a certain extent. There's still a bit of storytelling, but there's a very clear narrative to a lot of these songs. There's a beginning, a middle, and an end to
So-
the story.
Nothing esoteric or like dwelling and brooding or anything
And-
like that.
There's less brood.
Yeah.
I think we've got teenage like
Yeah, oh, definitely.
love in mind
Definite
here.
angst, but not like contemplation. No existentialism here. It's
And a
all
little bit of like hometown hick kind of
Never
thing, because there's
drama,
like
pickup
there's
truck.
well there's certainly like pickup truck references and things like that, but there's also references to God and stuff, which I think
Oh,
you
there's a
see
lot of God. Yeah.
Yeah.
drop off a little bit later as well. Whether that's maybe just a thing she stopped advertising or maybe it was something she never really committed to.
on
God.
on the
That's a very
bold
disgusting
statement. On the what you said the other week though as well, I feel like these lyrics were also very like tangible things, like blue jeans, black dress, like objects and tangible things as opposed to thoughts and feelings so much. And even when it was about love, it was like the more
These
physical.
are the things that I.
Yeah, it was like the more physical aspects, you know, like I want you to hear this song and think of me, like Tim
Yeah,
McGraw.
and Picture to Burn is pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah,
Like you've
yeah.
got that image. in
Brilliant
your head.
metaphor for like fucking 16-year-old, right? To use that as the crux of their song.
Well, I kind of
Clever.
love it. Like, I mean, if you, I don't know, if I was to hear a 16-year-old write something that's all like deep and brooding, like it'd come off
It's super cringy.
super cringy.
Yeah.
Really, yeah. I would
Guilty.
guilty. So like having it be kind of literal, I don't know. I could step back into my. Well, I don't even know to step back. I can just be my teenage self and just identify with the lyrics. You know, like everyone's got that 13-year-old in them that's like, yes, this is
Yes,
what I
Kate.
need. Exactly.
The
like,
very hopeful, like,
yeah.
love story.
Haven't been
bit of
broken down
foreshadowing
by the
there.
world.
Like, first heartbreak kind of thing.
But when that stuff happens, it is the most important thing in the world to you. Then, like, you're completely consumed with it. Of course, you'd write an album, and she made a habit out of it.
Yeah.
But not everyone does that.
I think a lot of people
A lot
do
of
that.
people do.
There's a lot of people that write
But not
albums
everyone
about it.
writes like universally acclaimed and like worldwide successful albums about it.
Yeah,
She fills a specific niche, doesn't she?
She does. I think there are a lot
I
of
don't know if you can call it a niche. It's pretty large and broad.
Okay.
like
a lot.
heartbreak.
Yes, true, true.
The niche.
The niche.
I've been going through this thing that no one's.
I am alone.
Someone has broken up with me. Should we get into nitty gritty?
For context, I have context on it being about love songs. This was all written in her.
Delicious context.
I think that said freshman year. I can't really remember how
Jesus
American years work.
I believe freshman year is, I think, our year 11.
I don't know. I think it was like
That's junior.
her.
No, because I think it goes junior. Oh, I don't know.
No, it's freshman, sophomore, junior, senior,
Okay.
Your school system's confusing.
which I think is year 9.
Right. Whenever she wrote
16.
it, her like then boyfriend was apparently going off to like college, and so she knew that they would be breaking up, and so that's like what this is. Especially like Tim McGraw was about like
McGraw.
McGraw. I'm gonna say everything wrong. It's how I work.
Big famous country.
Yeah.
Singer.
Yeah, I know, but I'm gonna mispronounce everything. Okay, it's
Okay.
fine.
Never heard of him.
So the idea was
Sitting there
that, you know,
silently judging.
this is going to end, but at some point I hope you hear this song and it makes you think of what we had.
Yeah.
Righto.
So that's
As you
very
do.
specifically. Is that very specifically "Stay Beautiful"? Isn't it?
That was Tim.
Oh, Tim McGraw
Got
specifically.
me guessing myself on how to say it now.
The first part is Tim.
Tim.
I'll give you that for free.
Yeah. And I mean, that was the biggest song off the album, wasn't it?
I was quite young when this came out, or at least quite young when I like came across it.
Yeah.
But for me, yeah, Tim McGraw was one of the biggest ones. And I think our song was quite big at the time, but for me personally, it didn't age well. I think once I got past my chirpy, like, beginning teenage years, and I'm clearly not chirpy anymore. But like, I think once I got past that point, it became a little less appealing. It was really appealing when I was like 13, 14. And now it's just fun because I still know all the words. And I'm-
Big teeny bop vibes.
Nostalgia feels.
No, they're super fun songs.
Oh, definitely.
And like all of the choruses are belters. Like if you want to, you can just shout all
Just
of them.
scream. This could be screamo. Like,
Well, like no,
Actually,
but-
the punk goes pop or pop goes punk. I don't know if that's the right way. Sorry. There is one way to phrase that.
Punk
but
goes pop.
yeah, they've done so many of her songs
Yes.
because they do translate very well.
yes, they
Yeah,
do.
no,
Because she's got the vibes. She-
she's got the punk vibes. No, but also just like the rhythm. It's like, what? Hang on, what have I got here? Okay, so like
Vocal rhythm or
Vocals-
rhythm
so
of.
melodic rhythm
Yeah.
is always typically it'll be like starts off with like quavers, so like a set of 2 or a set of 4, like da 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 ba 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 da 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 da, and it's like you can just sing it with her. It's like
Yeah.
so
Even
easy,
when you
it's so
don't know
catchy.
what's being said, it just flows along.
It just
Yeah.
flows along.
Yeah.
Nice melodies that are kind of almost like nursery rhyme-esque.
Yeah, songs that teach you how they go while they happen.
Yeah.
Was there a syncopated triplet rhythm in Stay Beautiful? I wrote a question
Oh,
mark.
you mean like at the end of the chorus?
Yeah.
It is syncopated. There's no triplety stuff going on. I don't think
Okay.
so.
I was just thoroughly confused. I was sitting there
Yeah.
going syncopated, then I did
It's
like
interesting,
second
isn't it?
guess myself because I
Yeah.
was like, it's a funky little rhythmic change that
Yeah, from
she doesn't do a lot in her albums, or at least not in this one.
There was some really cool rhythmic stuff. Should have said no. I
Wait,
really
wait,
liked how.
Before we
Oof,
move
whoop.
on from Stay
Wait.
Beautiful.
Whoa.
Where we're at the song, you have a hot take on this because I know what Tim wrote about this one.
Oh,
You point at my notes.
Yes.
right. Okay. Do I
What's-
have to die right
Yes. Yes.
now? So when I first, like, the very first chorus, I wrote no chorus, don't like. Because I didn't really like it. The chorus was kind of horrible.
Even with the rhythmic variation, it was also so pretty.
No, it was
That's
kind
so
of... No, it was horrible as fucked.
Why?
No, because...
There's no
okay.
soul.
No, it's...
I've never been more disgusted with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, I mean, I
The
did...
song's gorgeous.
I'd say, I don't know, it grew on me. My notes get better and better. It was just very, the vocal harmony it was too Disney for me. It was just so boppy and...
Okay, this leads into my hot take across the entire album. The vocal harmonies, they're well composed. I hate hearing them though, because it's not her voice. Taylor's voice harmonizes with itself so beautifully. I don't know how it was back in the day, but having listened to, can I fucking?
No, I'm ready to die.
I absolutely hated hearing whoever's voice that was with her. And I thought, like, this doesn't work. Why is this happening? It would make more sense if it was her.
I did kind of feel like they were... I feel like very obvious is not a great way of phrasing it, but like you said, she does in her later years, especially when we've just listened to folklore and that kind of thing, she does blend very well with herself. And so the backing vocals, while they're well written and they're beautifully sung, I notice them very prominently when they come through. And maybe that's got something to do with the fact that obviously her voice is still developing here, and while she's got a fairly good low register, her high range it goes into her head voice, where much later on she has that control to sing much higher in the register without slipping into that head voice. So maybe that's also got something to do with it, is that she's not as in the foreground as she is later. But Jason's about to burst.
It was so nice to hear her like pairing well with another vocal, because I thought it blended well, and I thought it fit really well thematically, because it's an album about love songs and
No, it's not. You're wrong.
It is, and it's nice,
and it's
because
for that reason I completely disagree with you.
It wasn't like overstated, especially in.
Yeah, no, I'm dying on Jason's hill.
It was
a fort around
especially in. I think it was Mary's song that was very like storytelling, and the guy ends up proposing, and he was coming in, and like he's part of the story, and it makes sense for him to be there at different parts, because you're getting her perspective, but he's also there.
I actually believe that song was someone she knew's story.
Yeah,
I'm
but
having a flashback to 90 seconds ago where Beebs complained about it being too Disney.
It was too Disney and Stay Beautiful, but the rest of the vocal harmony throughout the whole album was generally kind of understated, and I loved it. There were so many moments where it was there, but not obvious, and it was incredible. Stay Beautiful, though, it was shithouse, because it was so strong, and it was so Disney, and it was so like, woo, like that.
Disney is like the benchmark for bad things. Damn it, Disney.
For cringe vocal harmonies, yes. Disney.
I'm
is
also
the
ready.
benchmark.
I'm always
Where's
that
your
person who is at the party dying about Disney. Everyone, not going to get into it, but it's not a good time.
This is not the Disney month, guys.
No,
let's move on.
Let's
move
into
on. But the vocal harmony all like through the rest of the album was amazing. It was so like just back, and it blended nice, and it was very country.
And also,
it was very country.
It was very country, and it allowed her voice, like with everything, to be front and center and prominent. And
her voice, those things can be true with her doing the harmonies.
Yes, but it was just a nice, like timbre tone color to have behind her instead of just all female vocals.
It wasn't. I really thought it did not fit. It stuck out like a thumb. Not a sore thumb, just a regular thumb.
Just a regular one.
Thumbs stand out. Like, you notice it on your hand. It's like normal fingers. Oh, there's a thumb. You notice the thumb. It's not sore, but it's there.
I didn't like Stay Beautiful anyway. In general, it was an average song.
No.
I don't know what I think my favourite was. It was... I don't really have a favourite, to be honest. They're all kind of cute and nice.
I think I've always really enjoyed Should Have Said No.
Yeah.
I think I get a little amped up. I think if you made me pick a favourite, it's probably Should Have Said No.
I did very much enjoy that.
Gonna say, because she harmonizes with herself on that one, that it's your favorite?
That's actually not something that I thought about.
But now that you have
But
it, you
it's in
consider it.
Sure, fuck Stay Beautiful. I just thought it was cool to have some aggression to the music, like have some power, some minor chords. It's basically the minor tonality for half of it, which is cool. and fresh for this album. I didn't like the ending. I didn't like the ending of a lot of these songs. It's too country for me. It's
Is this
it's
because it resolves? I'm
it
not
always
exactly sure.
ends on a big fat, like there's a ritenuto to the tonic, and like always, and it's, except for the last song. I remember our song ended on a subdominant. I was like, okay, that's nice.
Is that why you were groaning so much?
Yes.
Right, okay.
Because the song's resolved.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
I don't like resolutions.
pretty sure
I
should
do
have.
like resolutions, but like it's just so tacky when it's like exactly like that every time.
No, it's
And
16-year-old country.
yes.
Come on, this was like a feel-good album.
I know that this is exactly like what country is, and she's writing country, and she's writing it very well. I'm not having an issue with the album. I'm having an issue with country.
Well, country's a very big genre, so
I
you're just
know.
gonna have to learn to
It's
grow
a
and
little
accept.
broader than just that.
I'm just saying. I'm just speaking my mind.
How do you feel about the ending to Old Town Road?
I'd have to listen to Old Town Road. I don't think I've ever listened to.
I definitely
Old Town
put it
Road.
on for you a few weeks ago.
I wasn't paying attention.
Yeah.
Anyway, so did you guys have favorites? I'm not sure that we really.
It was either
Touched
Stay
on that.
Beautiful or Should Have Said No for me. They were the two strongest songs on the album, in my opinion.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really like this. Should have said no. Again, going with this like melodic rhythm. So hers was like 4 quavers crotchet, and then the bass did a couple of quavers when she hit the crotchet. So there's this constant pulse of just quavers, just da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And it's like starts with her
Is
in the
that
melody.
the punk moment?
Yeah, 100%. No, it's not the punk moment at all. But it's the Jason. Get with the picture. The punk moment is picture to burn.
Yeah, true.
With that banjo solo.
I also think that like I can't remember exactly where it was, but there was a very 2000s like voice echo in like
That was
should have
near the
said no
start of the song.
after
Yes.
like I think it was in the first verse or somewhere near there where like there was I got a real 2000s like so
Yeah.
fresh kind of echo vibe
I really
from
did.
just that moment, and then I don't think it came back up in the rest of the song. It
Oh.
was just once. It was one like 2000s echo.
That's her getting onto the So Fresh. It was like, all right, I just need that one sound grab.
Did you have a favorite, Nicole? I
Uh,
think you might have already said.
I did, but yes, definitely
Come on,
should have
Jason.
said no. But I still do know all the
Keep
words to
up.
all of them, so I'm quite okay with them.
Going back to how things ended, I really wish that Mary's song and our song were swapped ending wise, just in terms of like tempo and like energy. Like Mary's song was very sweet and pretty and kind of felt like it was concluding, and then our song was a bit more like pump up and a bit more energy to it, so it kind of felt like we'd come to this natural lull, and then we were hyped up again, but it was the last song on the album.
As in, you wanted them switched,
Position
like
wise.
position wise.
I wish they weren't next to each other.
Also, yeah, from a naming convention, I don't like that they're next to each other.
I don't give a crap about the naming. It's to do with how bloody similar they are.
Elaborate.
I mean, harmonically they're identical.
And they do have a very similar kind of romantic storyline, the way that
Yeah.
they follow through things, and like the changing of the pronouns and that kind of thing in the final verse. Like you've definitely got a very similar structure. Like I know that is a theme throughout the album in general, but they are very, very similar
They might be
sounding songs.
the two most similar songs on the album. They're next to each other at the end. It's like,
I thought like throughout the whole album, up until those 2 songs, the like construction was actually really quite good.
Yeah, I 100%
Like
agree.
it was constant, like tempo wise, it was constantly like driving, then coming back
Back
down,
down, yeah.
driving, and coming back down. Really nice lull. And then those 2.
I mean, it's 2 songs out of 11 is not a, it's a pass mark.
But Jason, you remember the start of the album and the end of the album.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's how it goes.
Yeah.
It did sour the ending for me.
And it's not that the song's are bad in
No,
any way, shape,
no.
or form. It's just that maybe could have popped.
And it's a shame
Maybe in the middle.
when songs that are perfectly fine take a hit because of their placement in a list.
Is that like a production thing? Like would
Is that
Not
her
necessarily. It really, it could be the engineer, it could be her. Like, there's so many people that would have their say in that.
Especially
And I
in
don't
this
know-
time period where
Yeah,
she was
she's
just starting
16,
out,
yeah.
and other people would have had a lot of
Like,
opinions.
Maybe she agrees with me. Taylor?
Please add us.
Please tell us if they forced you into
She'll
this.
reply, but not, tell who we are.
Yeah. If there's any, cat accounts commenting, it's Taylor.
Yeah. She'll just tweet the word yes, and we'll know.
Oh no.
So, another thing that I kind of really liked on this that I don't think has been big in pop since around this time, it's definitely more of a country thing, is the almost call and response element between when there wasn't a vocal melody, there was some sort of instrument line and melody kind of not in the space, but sort of in the space. It wasn't prominent. Yeah, there was something interesting
I think
going
that's a
on.
big country
It is
folk
very-
thing
'cause-
where you I guess if it was more of a country album or more of a folk album where again there was a band and they were together, you would see more of those instrument solos played out in a much more dramatic fashion.
I like the
And you
understated
do
of this,
see
though.
it, but I guess that I imagine that was a decision as well. It was this is the genre that we're composing in, and there probably should be a little bit of a violin, banjo-y guitar solo here, but they're not going to take over from the vocal line.
No, but I think that worked really well because it made it interesting, and it wasn't just, not that there's dead space in other songs, but there was something going on that kind of kept your attention until the next vocal line came in.
Yeah.
That's exactly the same as Mark Knopfler's style.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very
So Taylor Swift, Mark Knopfler, that.
same person.
Same.
He's in a pod.
Right.
Click above to find out what else we've spoken about in this theme.
Click below to support the artist that we just listened to.
And make sure to tune in next week for more Vinyl Tap.
That's pretty good.